Here's your wrestling news for February 2nd, 2026. Your headlines for today include the mastermind behind Bron Breakker's Rumble attack and WWE's long-term plan revealed. Breaking, Rhea Ripley injured at Royal Rumble, help to the back. Roman Reigns' Royal Rumble victory faces massive backlash online. Real reason behind Ava's sudden WWE exit revealed. Why WWE forced changes to Rey Mysterio. Triple H breaks silence on AJ Styles' WWE future post-retirement. WWE star's name surfaces in newly released Epstein files. Why WWE cut major star from Rumble lineup at last minute, and more. The mystery surrounding Bron Breakker's elimination from the Royal Rumble continues to grow, and Paul Heyman has already made sure the blame is pointed in a very specific direction. Following the masked man attack that took Breakker out of the Rumble, Heyman took to X and publicly accused Adam Pearce and Seth Rollins of orchestrating what he described as a targeted hit. Rather than treating the attack as ringside chaos, Heyman framed it as a coordinated conspiracy. Heyman ended his message with the acronym FOFA, widely interpreted as F around and find out, signaling that retaliation may be imminent. But what if that's exactly what he wants everyone to believe? A growing theory suggests that Rollins and Pearce are being positioned as the obvious suspects, believable antagonists given their past tensions with Breakker. On the surface it makes sense. Rollins has history with Breakker, and Pearce has frequently found himself at odds with him. That narrative is easy for fans to accept. However, the twist could be that Heyman himself is the true mastermind behind the attack. Under this theory, the masked figure could eventually be revealed as either Finn Balor or Logan Paul acting on Heyman's orders. The long-term objective? Remove Breakker from the Vision, solidify Heyman's control, and possibly bring Balor into the faction as a replacement. Such a move would accomplish two goals at once. It would position Breakker as a betrayed powerhouse, an organic babyface turn heading into WrestleMania 42, while also strengthening the Vision as a more calculated, manipulative unit under Heyman's direction. If executed properly, the storyline could shift Breakker from enforcer to wronged standout just in time for WrestleMania season, giving him emotional momentum rather than just physical dominance. How do you like direction for Breakker? And should he be positioned as a babyface by WrestleMania 42? Sound off in the comments below. Roman Reigns once again emerged victorious at the Royal Rumble, and not everyone is celebrating. Shortly after the event in Riyadh, WWE uploaded a video of Reigns celebrating inside Riyadh Citizen Stadium. The clip quickly crossed 450,000 views, but the engagement told a more nuanced story. At the time of reporting, the video sat at 17.1 thousand likes and 15,000 dislikes, a ratio that suggests a sizable portion of viewers were not fully on board with the tribal chief standing tall again. While WWE continues to present him as its premier attraction, critics argue that the Royal Rumble was an opportunity to elevate emerging names such as Bron Breakker or Jacob Fatu. With WrestleMania season traditionally serving as a launch pad for new stars, many believed this was the ideal moment for a shift. The debate intensified following Reigns' appearance on the Pat McAfee Show ahead of the Royal Rumble, where he addressed criticism about his part-time status and the company's creative direction. "I'm a generous tribal chief. I give the people plenty of time. These young talent, they say we hog all the TV time. They'll complain about one thing, and I leave an opening and give them plenty of space to create whatever type of superstardom they want. Get over, kids. Get over. We're 2 years here now. We haven't advanced. We haven't evolved. We have great leadership. Nick Khan, God bless him. What a businessman. He's a genius. But we have to be able to keep up creatively. And that's why people like me, people who are striving to be the greatest, the GOATs, the MJs, I just can't sit around and see mediocrity. Not when I set it up for everybody to just slam it home. I mean, we're on Netflix for crying out loud. You gotta capitalize. We have people playing around and trying to figure it out, and I got the formula. I know how to cook it up." Do you agree with Roman Reigns' assessment of the roster? Or should WWE have gone a different route this year? Let us know your thoughts. Ava's departure from WWE raised eyebrows across the fan base, especially considering she had just been involved in a prominent storyline on NXT television. On February 1st, Dave Meltzer provided additional context on Wrestling Observer Radio, making it clear that this was not a release or a creative decision. According to Meltzer, the move came entirely from Ava herself. "I've talked to and heard from several people, and the general thing is she just didn't want to do it anymore. There was no compelling reason," Meltzer said. It was just one of those things where her parents own a studio and they thought she's probably going to end up working there. She doesn't have to do it. There has also been quiet speculation regarding whether personal factors played a role. Meltzer mentioned that some within wrestling circles pointed out that Tatiana Dumas, reportedly her girlfriend, had been released by WWE weeks earlier. However, he was careful not to present that as confirmed reasoning. One person had contacted me and mentioned Tatiana Dumas, who is her girlfriend, was cut, which we didn't hear just a couple of weeks ago. They weren't quite saying that's why she quit, but it was something that people put one and one together that maybe that had something to do with it, maybe it didn't, I don't know. Ava, real name Simone Johnson, publicly confirmed on January 30th that the January 27th episode of NXT marked her final appearance. WWE has since moved her profile to the alumni section of its website, quietly closing the chapter for her run. For someone who made history as WWE's first fourth-generation superstar and later became the youngest general manager in company history, it's a notable exit. But it doesn't necessarily feel final, just intentional. Do you think Ava eventually finds her way back to wrestling, or is this truly the end of her in-ring chapter? Let us know your thoughts below. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Rey Mysterio's Royal Rumble appearance in Riyadh came with a noticeable visual adjustment, and it was clearly intentional. During the men's Royal Rumble match, Mysterio entered without the signature cross design that usually appears on his mask. His Christian-themed chest tattoos were also covered by his ring gear. In the days leading up to the event, fans had already spotted changes in WWE's promotional material. The Royal Rumble poster and a SmackDown graphic both showed the cross on Mysterio's mask digitally removed, signaling that this was a coordinated production decision rather than a last-minute change. The reason is tied to cultural sensitivity. Saudi Arabia follows Islamic traditions, and public display of non-Islamic religious symbols is often handled carefully during large-scale broadcasts and international events. Fan reaction to the situation has been clearly divided. On one side of the debate, many see the change as a respectful adjustment. When a global company like WWE stages a major event in a country with deeply rooted religious and cultural traditions, there is often an expectation that certain elements of the presentation will align with local customs. From that perspective, modifying a mask design or covering tattoos is simply part of operating internationally and showing cultural awareness. On the other side, some fans believe performers are global entertainers whose identities are central to their brand. Rey Mysterio's mask design and religious imagery have been long-standing parts of his on-screen character. From that viewpoint, visiting countries should allow talent to appear as they are traditionally known, especially in performance setting where authenticity is part of the appeal. It's also worth noting that this isn't unique to WWE. Across international concerts, sports, and large-scale entertainment events, presentation adjustments are often made depending on the host country, which is why discussions like this tend to surface whenever global promotions enter new markets. That said, some viewers noticed a major inconsistency. While his mask design was edited in graphics and adjusted for the live broadcast, earlier promotional materials did not digitally remove the cross tattoo on Mysterio's chest. That discrepancy has also led to online discussion about attention to detail in the presentation. Where do you stand on this? Sound off in the comments below. Rhea Ripley may not have dominated the 2026 Royal Rumble, but she still fought her way into the final five. Unfortunately, her night did not end on a positive note. Ripley was eliminated after Raquel Rodriguez lifted and tossed her over the top rope. As she tried to hold on, things went wrong. Ripley landed hard on the edge of the ring apron, hitting her back squarely before falling awkwardly to the floor. She was visibly in pain and could be heard yelling as she hit the ground. Referees at ringside immediately noticed something wasn't right and rushed to check on her. Ripley remained down for several moments, arching her back as she dealt with the impact. While the elimination itself appeared to be planned, the rough landing did not. Fan footage shared online later showed the aftermath more clearly. Ripley stayed down for some time before referee Jessica Carr helped her to her feet and guided her toward the medical area near the commentary table. She appeared hunched over and struggled to stand on her own. At one point, Ripley even attempted to high-five a fan, but could barely lift her arm, visibly clutching her lower back. As of now, no official update has been provided on her condition. Further details are expected in the coming days. Logan Paul may have lost the Royal Rumble, but he didn't lose his voice, especially when it came to reigniting his personal feud with Green Shirt Guy. Green Shirt Guy took to Instagram and shared footage of what happened moments after Roman Reigns eliminated Paul from the match in Riyadh on January 31st. Still visibly frustrated, Logan made his way to ringside, where Green Shirt Guy was seated, and immediately began exchanging words.
Couldn't afford the seats on the other side this time, huh? Because you don't got that guap. All you got is a stupid goatee. You're not even on TV this time, Bubba.
This isn't the first confrontation between the two. At Clash in Paris in August 2025, Logan publicly accused Green Shirt Guy of starting the now infamous Parasite chant. Since then, the tension has carried over from social media to live events, with fans closely following every heated interaction. Whether it's calculated entertainment or genuine animosity, Logan Paul vs. Green Shirt Guy has quietly evolved into one of wrestling's most unusual rivalries, and based on the latest footage, this story is far from finished. It's hard to predict what the future holds for AJ Styles, but as of now, his in-ring WWE career appears to be over. At Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, Styles fell to Gunther in a career-threatening match. While he teased leaving his gloves in the ring, a traditional sign of retirement, he ultimately chose not to. Still, the emotional tone of the moment, combined with what followed on the post-show, strongly suggests that this chapter has closed. Speaking after the event, Triple H revealed that WWE originally expected Styles' in-ring run to last deeper into 2026. Instead, the decision came from Styles himself. Obviously, we expected it later in the year. We had a lot of conversations about it. AJ is one of those people that absolutely wants to give back and be a part of this business. I don't want to speak for him, but the conversations that he had with me, he made it very clear that he was just done with the in-ring. There's a point where you just reach in your career where you say, I don't want to do this anymore, and when your heart goes, no matter how good you are, he hasn't lost a step. But when you say, I'm just at a place where I don't want to do this anymore, it's time before you get hurt, before you get told you're not allowed to do this anymore. I think he was there. Triple H also made clear that WWE doesn't see this as the end of Styles' presence in the company. He compared a potential transition to Shawn Michaels' post-retirement path, moving from top-tier performer to a leadership and developmental role behind the scenes in NXT. The message was simple: even if AJ is done wrestling, WWE would welcome him in a mentorship, coaching, or creative capacity. For now, Styles himself has not publicly commented, leaving room for speculation. Is this truly the final bell for the phenomenal one inside the ropes, or could this be the beginning of a different kind of legacy within WWE? Only time will tell. Late WWE star Ashley Massaro has been mentioned in the newly unsealed court records connected to the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. The documents are part of a broader release of previously sealed materials tied to allegations involving Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted in 2021 for her role in trafficking minors. In one redacted complaint submitted in 2020, Massaro's name appears in reference to statements made by an anonymous claimant. The document includes graphic allegations related to abuse at Epstein's private island, though significant portions remain redacted. In one part of the filing, there is a reference to a claim that Massaro became pregnant during her high school years. The records do not accuse Massaro of wrongdoing, nor do they establish any criminal findings involving her. However, her name's inclusion has drawn attention due to her public profile and the tragic circumstances of her death in 2019. The resurfacing of her name has sparked mixed reactions online, with many fans and former colleagues expressing sadness and urging that her legacy not be defined by a brief reference in a complex legal case. WWE fans watching the Royal Rumble may have noticed one name missing from the action: Kit Wilson. According to Fightful Select, Wilson was discussed internally as a possible entrant for this year's Men's Royal Rumble match in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. However, WWE ultimately decided not to include him in the final lineup. No specific reason was provided. The report simply stated, Kit Wilson was discussed for the WWE Royal Rumble, but was ultimately passed on. Do you think Kit Wilson should have been included in the Royal Rumble this year, or was WWE right to leave him out? Don't miss our next video coming at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with all the latest wrestling updates. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.